This reading is for Geminis for the year 2022. This is a reading about the energies coming for your trip around the sun this year, the next 365 days. I'll be looking at what will support you, what may challenge you, relationship energy, and anything else that might pop up. Money, career, something existential maybe. Okay, let's look at the energy that supports Geminis in 2022. This is primarily about not just decisiveness, but making a decision and moving on that decision. This is an excellent card for getting things done. Many of you over the last couple years may have had a lot of time to contemplate your existence during the quarantine, come up with new ideas, possibly are looking at life in a different way. And this energy that supports you is about making some decisions based on some ideas you've come up with, and actually not just making a decision, but moving in action. The energy that will be somewhat challenging for you is the action part of this. So to have the Chariot in a position of what I'll say, an energy that needs to be worked with, means that there's going to be a struggle between a long-term goal and short-term distraction or satisfaction. And these two just fit together hand in glove, because while this is great for having a conviction and making a decision, there is sometimes follow through being an issue for Gemini, and this is saying this is a year to actually have follow through on some things, okay? Now, in the relationship sector of 2022, we have this energy that's very opposite of the prime energy here. It's very much what I'll say a rose-colored glasses sort of situation. So I'm not going to put a value judgment on this of whether this is good or bad, but I will say some of you may be in situations like this year. You fall for somebody and you can't see maybe their more challenging qualities, and it's actually sort of difficult for you to suss out the situation because of the rose-colored glasses. This could actually mean some of you actually really fall in love this year and are in that stage. Some of you may have so many opportunities for romance coming up in 2022 that you just can't choose who you want to be with. Or conversely, depending on who you are, and a more detailed spread would be needed, you may be with someone who is like that, who actually feels like the glass is greener. I'm sorry. I got my metaphors mixed up. The grass is greener. So, but in general, what I'll say is that there's sort of a sort of mystical, sort of magical energy around romance this year. Wow, and wow, look at this. This is about career energy. You have the Emperor, very much a master manifester. So what I'm going to say for Geminis this year, primarily in their life path, anything that you actually can have follow through on, pursue, and achieve, you will be very successful. This is the year to make the move, okay? All right, now let's see what else there is for you to know about your upcoming year. So some of you right now may be exiting a situation. You just came to a point where you're like, yeah, I'm just going to salvage what I can and keep moving. This is a general reading. This can be about anything, okay? This can be about a habit. It can be about a job. It can be about any relationship. I mean, maybe you have a frenemy, right? Maybe one of your relatives, you just come to a point where you're like, I am not going to do this anymore. I'm going to put up some boundaries, you know? So the energy that we're starting with, interestingly enough, is again a very decisive line in the sand, decision-making energy that we also saw, you know, in the more general concepts we were looking at earlier. What I find fascinating is this energy returns that we were talking about, the Seven of Cups. So sort of riding on the heels of making a decision and actually making a line in the sand about what you need to, all of a sudden you free up all of this energy to see a new vision for yourself. Gemini, you're very high frequency, and sometimes it's hard to set up boundaries. And this year is a year for making boundaries and saying no with love and compassion, and that will open up a lot of space for you in a lot of different ways. And your outcome for 2022 is the High Priestess. How cool is that? This is, according to some traditions, the most powerful card in the deck. This is about knowing yourself, being secure in yourself, and trusting your judgment, trusting your intuition. I find it interesting that it starts with, you know, sort of, like I said, setting up a situation where you are, you know, going to make your own reality and your own truth important and primary, and you end up being the High Priestess out of that. You know, it doesn't do anybody any good if you're not really yourself, honestly. And on the lead up to the High Priestess, this says many of you are going to set yourself free from something. Again, we have the swords. Wow, this is an interesting reading. A lot of sword energy, but in a good way. And very much this is about where you put your energy is what you're going to be standing on tomorrow. Build it and they will come, okay? And then you'll be the High Priestess. So, some of you have had a hard time in relationships. That is going to be changing. Definitely, what I'll say, they'll be changing for the better, let me say. When it comes to relationship, boundaries are good for everyone. And maybe some of you have learned some lessons in the last while about what you'll accept and what you won't accept. And when you do that, you open up this whole new area of new romantic possibility, new realities in terms of relationship. It's really beautiful. And on top of it, you're the High Priestess. Wowie zowie. So this is a year for action. This is a year for speaking your truth. This is a year for not settling in relationship. And I think that a whole new world will open for you, Gemini. So happy New Year and take care.